welcome back to another episode of Black Squirrel Bushcraft. Today is a beautiful day for a hike. We went out for about an hour and a half to 2 hours. It's the end of the day. Thought it would be a good time to come back into camp, light up my solo stove, heat up a little water, rehydrate a meal, and have a little food before we called it a day. Unfortunately, I don't know if you can hear it, and I apologize if you can hear it over the mic, but it's pretty windy. So lighting a fire in the fire area here just isn't in the cards. We haven't had a lot of rain this year, so a chance for a brush fire is pretty high. So we're going to forego that. But it brought up a good thought in my head as to, you know, what do you do if you only have your solo stove, you don't have a butane stove? You know, how are you going to heat some water, cook a meal, etc.? Normally, you know, if I'm not bringing anything home bringing anything from home to cook, I might grab one of these kinds of meals at camp store or Walmart or whatever when I'm down there. A lot of times, though, there's some advantages and disadvantages of these things where I just leave them at home. Like I said, I just soon make a sandwich, especially if I'm only hiking during the day and it's not going to go in dinner or I'm camping overnight or whatever. I'm not going to bring one of these things. I'm just going to make a sandwich, throw it in a bag, and, you know, away you go. But if you're staying overnight or you have a weekend or a bug out bag or something like that, you know, there's a lot of considerations for these. It's like heating up water. How much water do you have to give up for one of these things? Is the water drinkable? Is it safe? That kind of thing. So it got me to thinking a while back, you know, there's got to be some other alternatives. And by accident, I stumbled across a community of people out there on YouTube that all they do, I mean, all they do, it was really cool because I'm sort of hooked on it, is they review MREs, meals ready to eat, meals that are made for the military, and not just the United States. The whole community, you know, they'll get into Russian MREs and Japanese MREs, and Ukraine MREs. But for this discussion, this is a US MRE, which just happens to be, by the way, I don't know if you saw that, but this was spaghetti with meat sauce, and this happens to be spaghetti with meat sauce. And the cool thing about these are, in a situation of today when I can't make a fire, it doesn't make any difference. I still get a hot meal because I have a heater inside here, a chemical type heater that'll heat my entree for me, and I don't need any water because it's already hydrated, but it's sealed in a pack. So why don't we do this? Why don't we take these items, go back to the kitchen, break these things down. Let's see what we get in here, because it's not just an entree in here, and talk about the advantages and disadvantages before maybe we get blown a tree or a deadfall on top of it. Okay, so stay tuned. So here's our meal ready to eat. As you can see, it's spaghetti with beef and sauce. There are a couple of things on here that are kind of interesting. Number one, it says that how the flameless heater, you know, you can't take this on an airplane. In other words, if this isn't sealed up, etc. So basically, if a soldier got one of these things, it's got what they call a peelable seal. You just put your fingers in here and you can separate the plastic. Usually, if you're smart enough, you can anyway. And then you get to there, you see a little triangle, see that little white there, and you put your thumbs in there and just basically pull it apart, and out it comes. And inside this plastic, okay, is another piece of plastic with all the goodies in it. Now, normally, most of the stuff is always designed so you don't need a knife, which I like. Okay, it has care points. So for instance, you've got this care point here on the plastic, etc. So we're gonna get into the main bag here. And I'm just gonna put out what all these things are. I won't get into much of an explanation with them, but I think you'll be able to figure out most of the stuff. This is called a hot beverage bag. This is where you mix up your hot beverage mix and water in this bag. This is your flameless ration heater. Okay, it works by a little bit of water and it activates some magnesium filings inside, which then turns the steam, and then you put your entree inside, fold it up, and put it back in a little carrier box here. We'll show you that in a minute. They include a little hot pepper sauce, a beverage base powder, tropical punch. Sometimes it's just like Kool-Aid. Sometimes it's actually like a Gatorade type drink. Cheese spread. Cranberries osmotic, which basically means dried cranberries, like craisins. Pretzel sticks. Sorry about the glare. We've got multi-grain snack bread, an accessory package, which we'll go through here, a bag of Skittles, which in this particular case, these Skittles feel like they've broken down a little bit. We'll talk about that. An MRE spoon, which is like one of the best spoons in the MRE field that I've seen so far. It's pretty long and it's pretty heavy duty. It's specifically designed to go deep into packages, so that's there. And finally, our entree, which comes in a box, and we'll show you why that box is important and in a minute. And here's our spaghetti with beef sauce. And like everything else on here, you have the numbers of the date it was made, the lot number, etc. Now, the interesting part about this is the Julian date on here, I believe, is 2013 on the 91st day. And it looks like lot A. So that would be that number. I don't know if you can see it right there. Okay, there's that Julian day I was talking about. And what you're supposed to assume is when you see a 3 before it, it's 2013, because I don't think these were made in 2003. Okay, so we'll open the accessory pack real quick and show you what's in there. And they give you some chiclets. Usually it's spearmint or cinnamon. Instant coffee. Salt, iodized. A moist towelette. Some sugar. A pack of matches. A creamer, non-dairy type, you know, like just powdered creamer. And a paper towel or toilet paper, depending on how you want to use it. So that's the whole thing. Now, I'm gonna stop for a minute, lay these out, take a picture so you can kind of see an overall view in one shot of everything that's in this single bag. So stay tuned, we'll be right back with you. All right, so let's go over real quick what we have here in this one bag. This is menu 20, MRE menu number 20, spaghetti with beef and sauce. So in one bag, you get an entree along with the carton that it came in, which is going to be, you're going to see in a little bit why that's important. It's going to be used in the cooking process. Pretzel sticks, some snack bread, a bag of Skittles, a moist towelette, some creamer, some sugar, some gum, some matches, some salt, instant coffee type 3, a towelette or toilet paper, hot sauce, a beverage powder, in this particular case it's tropical punch, cheese spread, cranberries or craisins, the ration heater itself, which alleviates a stove, the mixing bag for the hot beverage, in this particular case it's coffee, a spoon, and I said toilet paper. All right, so that all came in one bag, as opposed to this, which just has your spaghetti in it. Now, why am I making that comparison right now? It's because this costs $7.80, okay? All of this cost me $4. Okay, so
I get, you know, if you think about it, you get some pretzels, you get some bread, you get some craisins, you get an entree, you get some cheese spread, a drink powder, some sauce, a towelette, some toilet paper, a spoon. I mean, you get all of this for about, you know, $4 or $5. Now, I got this on eBay, so that's why. The second thing you have to realize is that it is packaged in 2013, so as of this date, it's about 3 years old. Now, they usually have a 5-year shelf life, so that's okay, I'm well within that. But I can tell you right off the bat that the Skittles, they're sort of compromised. Here they don't shake inside. That's because if I open them up right now, they're probably all, yep, as I figured, they're all like stuck together and gooey. So somehow, either in the packaging at the factory or whatever, they were compromised. So that's out, okay? Now, let me just show you how to cook our entree up and what the guys in the field have told me that they normally do to prep this. Okay. Stay tuned. Okay, so before we get into doing our entree, we're gonna wanna prepare our hot beverage, which in this case is coffee. So on here it says that you're gonna mix this coffee with 8 ounces of water, which I have, but you're gonna do that in this beverage bag. Now, I don't have hot water, which is okay, and I'll show you why in a second. We're gonna basically heat our coffee while we're cooking our entree. So in the bag is gonna go my sugar and my creamer. Now this is, don't forget, if you're doing this in the field, this is all gonna be done in this bag. You don't have to do it in a cup because, you know, in reality, sometimes you don't have an ability to make a fire, etc. And this might be good too on a rainy day. Okay, and in goes the coffee. Make sure you got it all in there. Coffee smells really good. Okay, all right. So everything's in there at this point. These bags even have increments on them. This one has 6, 8, and 12 ounces. We know we're gonna be using the 8 ounce. So you would basically, if you were in the field and didn't have a way to measure, you simply added water up to that line. I've already pre-measured the water, so I know just for time. There's 8 ounces there, and lo and behold, it's right at the line. So you zip it closed, you leave a little air in the bag, because it needs a place to move. But with these, from what I'm told, you want to roll the top down a couple of times and then, okay. So now that it's all mixed up, we're going to set this aside, and now we're going to do our entree prep. So now we're going to get ready to put our entree into our flameless ration heater. So what we're going to want to do is we're going to take the ration heater, and there's a cut mark here at the top. There's 2 of them. There's one more farther down, and there's one more at the top. You want to tear the one at the top, come all the way across. That exposes the inside. You want to shake it loose a little bit. Then you want to reach in, and you want to bring up that flameless ration heater element, okay, which looks like that, a little bit. And you want to put your entree in so that the entree is actually about, so you can center, you're going to center the element on the entree, but you're not going to push it all the way down yet. At some point you're going to push this all the way to the bottom, but you don't want to do that yet because you have to put a little water in here, okay, so that it only comes up to the line. You don't want to overfill it. But if the entree was pushed all the way to the bottom, it would give you a false indication. So you want to hold it up a little higher at first. So we're going to add a little water. Now we're going to do this all quick because when it starts, you got to have everything ready to go. I've already pre-burped, okay, my hot beverage pack. I've taken a lot of the air out of it and I've resealed the bag. although not very well. Evidently it's leaking a little bit, but we'll fix that. You want to take as much air out of it as you can so that when you sandwich these together, they'll all fit in that box and they'll all heat together. Okay? All right, so I'm just going to do this. I'm going to put a little water in here so that it doesn't overfill. Push this back down to the bottom of the bag, fold this bag over, take the mix bag, beverage bag, this bag, fold it all up and put it in this box so that it'll heat, okay? So first things first, I'm gonna add a little water so it comes up to the line. And that's a little too much, so I'm gonna pour a little of that off. A little more. A little more, geez. Doesn't take much. Okay, that's perfect. Now I'm gonna slide everything down. I'm gonna fold this over, and then we gotta get our element farther down in there. Okay, the element's down, and then you wanna fold this and then kind of rock it back and forth so the element's on the bottom and it's getting that water on those elements so it'll activate. See, they're getting wet. And when I start to feel the heat come out of these, it's going to go right into, there's the heat, so it's going to go right into the box, like that. And I'm going to try, oh boy, I don't know if I can do it. I'm going to try to get the beverage bag in there as well. So it's like trying to hop, skip, and jump all at the same time. And I don't think I'm going to be able to do it because the steam is just getting to be out of control. Oh, I think I might have done it. Yep, it's in there. All right, I think I might have done it. So, all right, at this point, you're gonna lean it up against a rock or something and let it do its thing, and then you come back in 10 minutes and we'll see what we have. Okay, while our entree is cooking off to the side here, I thought I would take a minute and go over some of the items, and I put them out for display. We've got some pretzels, some craisins, this whole grains snack bread that came with it. As you already see, I took a little bit of a bite. And I put some cheese spread on there, which basically is Cheese Whiz. And I thought I would also mix up our beverage base powder tropical fruit punch. Now, normally you might also get a high carbohydrate drink. This has got about 15 grams of sodium milligrams and 33 grams of carbohydrate. So I don't really see it as a like a Gatorade or a sports drink type mix, but it probably does have some energy in it as well. I'm just gonna give it a quick cut here just to save time. And we're gonna put that into 12 ounces of water. That off into a glass here so you can kind of see what it looks like. It's basically like a Kool-Aid or type smell to it. Remember Hawaiian Punch in the can? That's sort of what it smells like. Not make a mess here. Try not to. All right, so there's that. So that's just some of the other items that are in the MRE. Okay. We'll come back with the entree in a second as soon as it's done. Okay, so I heard the 10-minute mark on the alarm. We're going to take our coffee out first. And one of the things we could have mixed up our drink mix in this, but I don't know how warm this really got in there. But for science anyway. Okay, so here comes the ration heater. Now the one thing that I have heard, and I do know, is that when you pull these entrees out, they're going to be wet. So you're going to need to just wipe them down to get all the water off of them. Now what we're going to do, we're going to take and rip this open side to side. There's tear notches on the long way, because the idea would be is if you wanted to just eat it out of the pouch, it would be shallower. So we're going to open it up, but today we're gonna plate it. There's your spaghetti with meat sauce, and so you can get a look and see what it looks like. Into a bowl. Like that, and you just dig out the corners. It comes out pretty easy. Discard that, discard all that. And I have to say that I may have something happen to the heater here, because it seems like it's really heating up now and it shouldn't be, and I don't know whether or not it worked quite as well when it was supposed to. So first impressions are just like regular spaghetti with meat sauce. I mean, it's got nice hunks of meat, you can see pieces of tomato, some spaghetti. Give it a little taste. It's really good. It's really good, but you know, like life, it's not as good as if there wasn't a little spice in your life. So I'm going to take this hot sauce and see if I can bump it a little bit. Okay. That didn't look very appetizing, that hot sauce. So let's try that. No Parmesan cheese. Oh wow. That's a lot different. Well, that's not bad at all. So there's a good alternative right there. Let's try the coffee. Yep, that's pretty cold, but it's doable. I mean, it's drinkable, not cold. All right. Well, let me clean up here and then we'll do a summary and a quick overview. I'll be right back with you. Well, so there you have it. Just an alternative to your normal backpacking freeze-dried meals at about $4 a serving. You could pay about the same if you do a little shopping for an MRE, and you get a few other items. You can get a little cutlery, you get a napkin, you get some snacks, you get some condiments, etc., etc. And you don't have to light a fire in the process. The other thing, my only other takeaway or observations about this is really do have to pay attention if you're buying things on eBay, what the date is on the outside of the package. And they're hard to read sometimes, but usually they're there. And take into consideration that you have about a 5-year shelf life if they were stored properly, or even more. So if you're buying things off eBay and there's a good deal, just make sure you know what the date stamp is on the item. The other thing is go to MREinfo.com, and it explains a lot of the different MRE types that are out there. This is just one. There are others. There's cold weather, there's long range patrol, which more simulate the deep freeze-dried type meals such as this where you have to add water. Anyway, I hope you found this somewhat informative. It was a lot of fun doing it. Until next time, take care, stay safe. So long now.